So, here it is, Touchline Podcast, episode 1. My name's Callum, or Cal, and alongside me is Cam.
Yo, what's going on?
So, this podcast is basically talking about most things rugby league, because that's pretty much our main sports, really. But we will be going along other lines of sports, such as football, NFL, and NBA. At the minute, especially, there's only really the National Rugby League NRL that's going ahead. So, biggest lot of news that we'll talk about today is going to be about that. But yeah, anything to say, Cam? Really, anything?
Oh, let's get straight into round 4. It was quite eventful, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we have picked a few, haven't we? The sort of games that stood out to us, players, things like that.
Yeah.
But round 4 for me was quite a
Yeah, it was a good
telling
one for
one.
you. It was a good one for
It
you
was,
for your
yeah,
Roosters.
yeah. It was. I think the other thing as well, it kind of showed a few teams up as well.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it was an
I,
interesting round, really.
I expected Canberra to come out better, but
Yeah, definitely. That was a shock.
yeah, I
That was
mean,
a big
with
shock.
Ponga coming back, he had something to prove, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
but
mean, for me, there was the Cowboys and Sharks game. I mean, when you watched it, it was kind of two bad defenses going at
yeah,
each other.
yeah,
You know, to and fro sort of we score, you score sort of thing.
yeah.
The Dragons and the Dogs this morning or last night, wherever you're listening
They're a
from, that was
shambles
another
at the
one.
minute. Dragons, aren't they?
Yeah,
Shambles.
but I mean, I think Dragons have no excuses really. I mean, I think they should have turned up against a Bulldogs side that are struggling as well. It should have been a
Yeah.
more
Well,
close,
if you
competitive
look at the
game.
players that Dragons have, they shouldn't be struggling as much as they are. Like with
Yeah.
Graham, Isaac Luke, and
Thing is,
Ben Hunt.
I feel a bit harsh really because it's like the Dogs. I mean, today Kieran Thorne was back, and I think it helped him because he was like a rock for him.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, he gave him a bit more structure and someone that could take a team around the park. You know, he has been there, done that. He had a bit of experience to his game,
yeah.
but
It was still a bit
then
of a
again,
scruffy game, though, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. You look at the St George team, Ben Hunt, Queensland. You know,
Yeah.
he's been to a grand final. He's played in Origin.
I
Um,
think he's just lost all his confidence at the minute.
yeah,
He's all over the place.
they had a big switch around as well. Really, when you look at it, he moved to 6. They brought the new lad in at 7,
Yeah, wait,
and Corey Norman.
I thought it might have worked out a bit better for Hunt playing 6 because he had more
Yeah,
space, more time to run and orchestrate like everyone, but it just
yeah.
didn't
But the
work.
thing is, it's like James Graham in at 13. He played really. The forwards did a good job for him. He got him going forward. Granted, in the second half, errors were just. I think, but the Dogs completed hardly made any mistakes.
No, yeah,
Really,
yeah.
it was just the end of tackle, end of set. Dragons just didn't seem like they had a clue.
Yeah,
They'd
same as
take a
like
tackle.
the Tigers and stuff though. Like Tigers, they was playing well and they just
Yeah,
lost it in that second
yeah,
half.
yeah. I mean, 12-0 up against a team like Gold Coast. It wouldn't surprise me if the Tigers looked at that and gone, "Oh, it's only Gold Coast," you know.
Yeah.
Like, but it ended up biting them
To be fair,
because
it surprised
Gold
me the
Coast.
dog that came out in the Titans. Like,
Yeah, Titans, they did very well in second half. They controlled it. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong, it was back and forth. You know, Tigers, they scored a couple, but in the end, it's that that last try was incredible.
yeah, like fair
But
play,
Titans,
like fair
yeah,
play for that.
yeah, they didn't die, did they? You know, but yeah, it was quite a interesting round, really. What would you say was your shocking game? Like, what game kind of stood out to you going, how's this happened? I think I know what it's going to be.
To be honest, like it's a mixture really because like the Rabbitohs, I thought they might have come out a bit stronger. Latrell,
I
to
get
be
that.
fair to him,
Get that.
he played a bit better in the number 1 role, but he's still not there yet.
He did. He did.
I just
I'll give you that. Latrell he did seem a bit more comfortable in it. I mean, it must be hard for him going from a team that he's won 2 grand finals with to, playing in a centre role and
Yeah, well,
dominating in the centre
yeah.
role.
He's just at Roosters. He wasn't the leader, was it? At this team, he has to
Yeah,
kind of be the leader.
yeah, he has
And
to step up a bit, doesn't he, at
mm,
fullback position?
he played more aggressive though, more aggressive, and he looked
Oh
like he
yeah,
wanted to take it in more. Whereas
definitely,
when he played
definitely.
Roosters last week, he just looked like he just wanted to attack every Rooster player, do you know, because it's a former team and that. So
Prove something against him.
yeah, yeah,
Give him credit though. I don't think Storm were at the best when you
no,
watch that game. I
no,
don't think Storm were good. Don't get me wrong. They are a team that's like they love the scrap, if you get what I mean. They love that. They say, don't they, that they love the wrestle in
yeah.
defence.
Well, a
But I don't think,
Munster, he was on another level though, wasn't
yeah,
he? That game.
he was the. He, he's like he kind of saves them.
Yeah,
He really does.
especially now
He
in this
helps them
time
out
where
a
like
lot.
Cam Smith's, he's not really what he used to be, obviously because of his
No,
age,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it helps having Munster there.
yeah. Thing is, though, it must help Munster knowing that he has someone like Cam Smith at 9,
Yeah,
knowing that he's got that
that
kind of,
experience. Yeah,
yeah, because Cam Smith, he can still take him around park
yeah, 100%.
without a shadow of doubt. Um, what? Because obviously, then you said that did you say there was a couple of them, or was there
Yeah, like the
just the
Roosters
one?
game. Well, I don't think anyone
That's
expected
what
that.
I've gone. No, especially, I mean, a couple of days before the forward pack for Broncos came out and said that they expect fireworks,
Yeah,
and
I just
the
think at the
way
minute Brisbane are just playing it all wrong. Like Paynas, he should never be playing 80 minutes
no,
as
not
a
at
young
all.
player.
Well, yeah, I mean, he'll break him. I was going to say, like they were saying during the game that Payne Haas was the most experienced player on that pitch, and he's only 20.
That's ridiculous. That.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they've had some injuries. I completely get that.
Yeah, but there's no
But
way you should be getting beat 59-0
you
against the
should not,
best team or not.
especially at home as well, to just get turned over like that. I mean, when you look at some of the stats from the game as well, Broncos 37% possession, Roosters 63. The completion rate was 57% and 79%.
I'll just get
And
it up now. I'll just click on the thing, and we can have a
yeah,
look.
because
It's
the other thing as well is, go on, go on.
it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Like, just imagine if Tedesco would have passed his test in the morning. Imagine what the score would have been.
Yeah, I was going to say for the when you look at like the teams as well, Roosters granted full strength. They didn't have Tedesco, but for me, I thought Brett Morris was unbelievable.
Yeah, he played
He
sick.
was he was a class above the rest in really then. He filled that spot. He's not the same player as Tedesco, but
No,
he
but
filled that spot
yeah,
for him. Two
I
assists
wouldn't have expected that performance, Brett
mm,
Morris, like at fullback.
and they were nailing him at one point. I can't tell you the score. I'm not even going to try and think of it, but there's a point in the game where he makes a try-saving tackle on Corey Oates.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And it's like, that could have changed the game. If Corey Oates goes over there, the
yeah.
back in it Broncos.
It just
That sort
brings
of
it
thing
back
does,
to last week though with Broncos. How many chances did they have with them grubbers they was putting through, and they just kept
yeah,
dropping it over the line.
yeah.
Uh, it
Darius
was
Floyd
yeah, it
bombed
was
another one.
Corey Oates as well last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And then you look at it and you think they've still got Milford
Yeah,
there,
I think
who's an
nah.
experienced halfback.
Mm,
He is an experience. He should have stepped up. And I'm saying this. I'm not a professional rugby league player, but when you've got someone that's played for Queensland,
yeah.
surely he should be putting his hand up because it's hard as well. Because like Brodie Croft,
To be honest, I think he's a good player, and I think
he is a
there's
very good
just too
player.
much pressure on him at the minute to perform.
Yeah, they're expecting him to run the shop when he shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
It's a difficult one with Broncos at the minute because we're not over there. We don't know what's going on, do we? But
mm,
something needs to change quick. They've got a few players. I think they've got Katoni Staggs back in at centres next week.
That should
But
give them help, but they still, if they don't
they
perform
just
next
need
week, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
it'll be no, yeah, because that it seems like they've not adjusted to the new rules either.
No, yeah. But let's
You
talk
know,
about like the performance Victor Radley had and Carl Flanagan. They was
yeah,
on another level
Vic,
then.
Victor Radley's short passing game is unreal for a 13. I
Yeah.
caught that up then big time. But he's just all over the park. 80 minutes, solid in defence, solid
Yeah.
going forward. I mean, I wouldn't say it to his face, but the try he scored was a soft try.
He literally just ran up the middle. That was the key
He
story. Like,
just
just run
that
up the
was it.
middle.
That was it. It was ridiculous. And then you look at it and you think, it's the biggest defeat. The
Yeah.
last one was in the first week of the finals for Broncos, and that was 58-0 against Parramatta. That was last year in the
Jeez.
first week of the finals. So defence doesn't seem to have changed much. It's the first time that they've been kept scoreless as well at Suncorp. Now, Brisbane is quite
Yeah.
it's got quite a good history.
I mean, you got to picture it. There's no fans there, so you've not got that bad tension coming from the fans. But still, your
Yeah,
home ground, you defend it better than 59-0.
exactly. There's a question then of pride, isn't there? Like,
Yeah.
you've got to kind of put it online then, haven't you? And kind of sort of say, well, this isn't happening to us. We've got to actually do something now, step up and go for it.
You know who did like impress me actually? The Broncos winger. Do you know that English lad? What's his name there?
I know, is it Merrifield or something like that? I know who you're on about.
Yeah, yeah. He used to play around up north where we're from, like Newton area and stuff like that. He came up through there, so it's mad seeing
Really?
that. Yeah, it's mad seeing
Newton, it was only
how
like
he's gone from there.
25, 30 minute away, wasn't it, really, Newton for us? I remember playing Newton Storm.
Yeah, have you
But
heard the story
credit to
about
that
him?
lad.
Apparently,
Go
he
on.
went on holiday to Australia, and then he ended up playing rugby out there, and that's how he got picked up. He got charged for Brisbane when he was on holiday.
You must be good if that happened to you.
Yeah,
Because I know the story of when he was over here, he got trials for United, Manchester United
yeah,
football, and he said he decided he must have been then on holiday that he decided, no, I'm playing rugby.
crazy
Fair
that, isn't
play
it?
to the kid. I mean, the thing is, he had a solid game, and in games like that, I know it's harsh for the kids because that's not the experience you want on your debut. You don't want that, but
It's one of them.
it
It's a
gives them a
learning.
chance, doesn't it?
It's a lesson in it.
Yeah,
You can
you've got
only
to
get better
take
from
it.
it.
Exactly. Right. What for you? What was your most competitive game? Do you reckon?
Competitive. I'd probably say the Para-Manly game.
I've got the same thing here as you. Now that was a top game.
Yeah,
That was like,
both teams played well.
yeah. I think, in the first half, I think it was good watching Mitch Moses because a lot of talk like last year and this year, maybe not as much this year because it's only really just started kicking off, but a lot of the talk was about him for Origin.
You know,
I think,
it's going to be hard that because
go on,
like with Cleary and stuff not playing now, and obviously that competition, the halves at Penrith
yeah.
now. You know,
But
he's got a good chance.
watching that game, in the first half, he just outclassed Daly
Yeah,
Cherry Evans.
yeah. Well, we know how
He
we
did.
both feel about Cherry
No,
Evans, but we won't be
I know we're
biased.
both.
We won't be biased.
No, but it's true, isn't it? When you watched
Mm,
it,
yeah.
he
No, he's
outclassed
coming
it.
on loads now, Mitch Moses. I know he's
Yeah,
been good for a while, but he's coming on loads.
and that forward pack for Para as well was unbelievable.
Mm,
Regan Campbell Gillard was just, you
yeah.
know, he he ran unbelievable meters. He put in a solid effort, and it did help. But I mean, in second half, it was more about forwards game, really.
Yeah.
Mitch Moses did kind of go out of it, but
I tell you, he did
I've got a
perform
question.
well still.
Go on.
Turbo Trbojevic,
Yeah,
another fine game from
yeah.
him.
I think Parry dealt with him well. I think they did defensively. I
Mm,
think they did sort of, but he was always there. He was safe under the
yeah,
high ball and things.
yeah.
But I've got a question for you, Cam, with that game.
Go on.
Right, last minute,
Yeah.
is it a forward pass?
to me, I've seen like the slow motion thing, and it's a tough call, mate. But I didn't think it was forward. What did you think?
See, my when I was watching it, it was me and my dad on the couch watching it, and my dad shouted forward for it. I didn't say anything.
Do you think it was
I
forward?
genuinely, I said, I thought it was play on.
I did. To be honest, like it's one
I
of them
thought it went back.
decisions. It's too close to like call it, and a tight game like that, it's a big
It goes
decision.
either way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It goes either way. Any other day, Manly go in and win the game, though. I
yeah,
think,
100%.
and it was true. It went out backwards of
But
his
still,
hands,
even
but it
though the
moved.
ball went through, I still feel like when Paris saw that, they was like, oh, they're coming, and then they didn't even bother to tackle him properly. Like you saw
Mm,
Gutherson, he didn't look like he was bothered.
no,
He just
don't
saw
get me
him
wrong.
coming and was like, oh, here we go.
I do like Clint Gutherson though. I mean, he's worked through the middle off the
No,
big
yeah,
pack that Para have.
yeah,
He's always in and around the play of the ball.
yeah,
Give him credit. He did well. He did very, very well. You
100%.
know, what's
Uh,
next, Cam? What's next?
let's talk about your player of the round. Who do you think had the most impact this round?
I think I think again we're going to have gone with the same player here, but I've had to go with Kalen Ponga.
You know what? I agree. I agree. Ponga.
I think being suspended for round 3 and coming into round 4, especially against a team like the Raiders,
Yeah,
who are heavy, heavy favourites for grand final,
he just controlled the game, didn't
he was a game changer.
he? Yeah. When he,
You
I've got
know,
I've got some stats pulled up actually about his game. So this is his stats. He had 1 try, 3 try
yeah.
assists, 6 tackle busts, and 165 running meters. That just tells you all you need to know.
I mean, he just him and Pierce were just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think 2 of the try assists that he got, you know, I think it came from Pierce to Ponga.
yeah.
And that try he scored, like we said about Victor Radley's, he should never have scored that. That just seemed way too easy.
Highlight reel that. As
It
soon as I
is,
saw it,
it
I was like,
is.
highlight reel there.
I
It just,
just, when you think,
it'd been missed him. It'd been missed if he went to uni.
yeah, I
100%.
think, when you think of the Raiders' defense and what they did against Storm, maybe that was it. They believed their own height, but with a team like they've got and the coach that they've got, just can't see that being the case, can you?
No, no. I think if there's
That,
any year to win it, I think it's this year.
yeah, I think it. I hate to say it, Cam, but I think this year they're like the Warrington of the NRL. It's their year to win it.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
It is. When you look at they beat Storm now 3 times in a row at they've beat Storm 3 times now, sorry, in a row. Yeah, twice at Storm's home ground.
Yeah.
And you think that's a big ask to do that. Not many teams can do that.
Mm. And
But
when
I
you
just
think
think when
about
you
it,
look at
like, to put 34 points past a good defensive side like Canberra, you know,
that is something else to do that.
it proves something in it.
But I think that's why I picked Kalen Ponga because I
No,
think
yeah.
if he was suspended again or injured, I don't think they would have had that
I told
sort
you, didn't
of
I? Like, before the other games carried on, obviously after the first 2 days, I picked
yeah,
Cal Flanagan just because he broke the record points scored
yeah.
against the Broncos or something.
That's a
But
first shout. That
he was stringing the ball all the way.
yeah.
But you can't
He's
put
st-
anything past Ponga.
no, no. I, it's an interesting one here because like Ponga, like I said, he was just he was the difference between the two teams. A world class fullback,
Yeah.
And I think where with Flanagan, he stepped up to that plate.
No, yeah.
Ponga's been about, hasn't he?
Yeah, his experience. He knows what he's doing. Well, Flanagan, he's come into a double winning Rooster side, having to like replace Cooper Cronk. That's a big ask. And
That is a very big ask.
he played well when he
And
played in the World Cup Challenge against St Helens.
yeah,
He's been coming on 10 to dozen, but I think that game helped him.
I think don't and Flanagan, I fully get why you've picked him and everything, but Kiri as well. Kiri's helped him a
No, yeah,
bunch just
yeah,
because Kiri's just kind of said, "I'll do all if you do all the little things right,
no,
I'll
yeah.
make sure then that
But
whatever
Kiri,
happens."
he was all over the place that game. I think that's one of the best
Yeah,
games I've seen him play in a while, actually.
I think it'll be interesting next week with Roosters because they've had two very good games now against Souths and Broncos.
Yeah,
And I think it'll be more interesting to see how they sort of get along with next week playing.
yeah. Well, they're against
Sort of
they're against Bulldogs next week, aren't they?
they've got to
So
follow it up. Bulldogs coming off a win this week as well.
yeah, I still
First
think I
win,
still think they'll win, but it's gonna be a tough task.
very tough, very tough.
Talking about next week, actually, have you seen the Knights versus Storm? That's gonna be a good game.
That'll be a very good game. Again, big ass for Knights in it. They've always had this sort of thing about them where they start off the season well and then that's it. Then they just kind of drop off a bit.
Yeah,
But I think now that they've beat like the likes of Canberra and it kind of puts them in good stead. They should take that forward, especially with quality halves pairing. And we didn't even mention him. That centre, they call him Brad. He's only played 2 games, scored 4 tries, and they're already calling him Bradman the Beast Best.
yeah. He had a solid game, him actually.
He, he's just I think he's 19 or 20.
It's ridiculous, isn't it, when you think about it? The kids
He's
these
massive.
days,
He's built. I won't say it, but he is built. Built like a
the old
you know
saying, the old saying. I
the
know
old
what you
saying.
mean.
But he was just something else.
Not yet.
He was. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had good service, but he did well to finish him. He set up Edric Lee as well.
Yeah,
And going off the game where against Panthers, they could have scored, and the pass went behind Lee.
yeah. There's
You
also
know,
another fixture as well
he
next
did well
week.
to come back from that.
That's interesting.
Very, yeah,
Rabbitohs versus Titans. To see Titans come off a win and a Rabbitoh side that isn't playing the best and they're still trying to find themselves, it'll be
yeah.
interesting.
I think the scary thing for that game next week is how better Latrell Mitchell will get.
Yeah, yeah. Like people like Sam Burgess, and that they've said it, haven't they? Like he's coming on so much
He
now
is
that it's
a
just a matter
lot.
of time before he
Yeah,
clicks and he's just in form.
a lot happened last year. We won't talk about like last year and things, but a lot happened last year after Origin Game 1. He didn't get picked again. His form did drop off a bit,
Yeah,
but it does take a bit once you're in that sort of patch where you have no confidence.
yeah,
It does. It does take a while to get back out of it. And I think the last 2 games he's had solid performances. I know they've lost, but I think that's what he needs. He just needs to make sure that he does his own game well, and then he moves on from there.
yeah.
He moves on from there with it.
So
So
talking about news in the NRL, do you see
go on.
that
What have
what
you got
came
for
out
me?
today about Josh Reynolds?
I did. Now I'm a bit confused at this.
So he got he came back off the flight, didn't he? And he was driving, and he got pulled over, um, and he had an
And
invalid driving license, and they tested him, like drug tested him there and then, and it came positive. But then they took
but
him to
wasn't
the
there 2
yeah,
tests
they took him to the
or
station
something?
after it, and the station test showed that it was negative. And they've said,
Yeah.
like, obviously, the test on the road can sometimes be wrong, and it's not uncommon for them to be wrong. But obviously,
But the
the news, like Fox League
because
and that, they've decided to twist the words, and it's a bit of a tough time for
he
him at the minute.
he put a tweet out, didn't he, saying explaining what you said then about getting off the flight and things,
Yeah,
and bits like that. But he said that he wasn't sure. He didn't know that his driver's license was invalid.
yeah. Well, I've
He
got it
didn't
up here on the
realise.
screen now, so we can have a look at it. It says, I arrived back from Queensland with the team via plane late last night. I was driving home to get some food and was pulled up by with an expired driver's license, which I was unaware of. The officer conducted alcohol and drug testing. The alcohol test was negative. Oh, so it was negative Um, the roadside drug test was a false positive. I went to the police station and undertook further sample of high testing, which proved negative. I'm told false positive on roadside test are not uncommon. I was then released without charge. So, you know, it's just news, typical news and media trying to
And I
twist
think
words.
especially with Reynolds at minute, maybe not getting the game time that he deserves,
No.
at the Tigers. I think he's kind of like an easy target because he has been in the media before for things that he's done and
Yeah,
said.
that with his wife and stuff like that, but it's a bit
Yeah.
unfair
It,
to. It's like an easy
no,
target,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's wrong, in it really,
Mm.
that it's come
And it's
out.
a
I mean,
shame, really,
going,
because he's actually a decent player.
yeah, because I mean, because one of my things that I've got here is about the Bateman trouble that Canberra are having
Oh God,
now.
that's a
When
shambles.
that
That.
came, when that came out, it was said that he'd requested to leave 4 times. He came out. John Bateman tweeted and rubbished it. He said that it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Apparently, it was his agent said that he wants a better contract. The
yeah.
contract that he wants is, I've got it here, is around 800k a season.
Jeez.
Now, for me looking at Bateman, he's a very good player, but I don't think he's an 800k
Not
player.
yet. Not yet. You got to think you can pay an extra 200k and get Kalen Ponga. Mm,
Tamalola.
yeah, exactly. You got to put the two and two together. It
You
doesn't work.
and like we said about Ponga and Tamalola especially, they're game changers. They're
Yeah.
goal forwards.
I mean,
Bateman isn't that.
yeah, no
Bateman's solid.
disrespect. Yeah, no disrespect to him.
Yeah,
He is a good player, but he's not them
he's
figures
not.
yet.
He's not found his trade yet in the sort of
Isn't there
the
apparent
NRL.
links of him doing a 5-year deal with Wigan, coming back to Wigan as well?
Right. So that was the next thing. Now you obviously being a Wigan fan, I
Yeah,
want you to tell me what you think about this. So this is all on Fox News. This, so obviously take it with a pinch of salt.
you've
But
you've got your sources.
yeah, so over in Australia, Canberra, he wants out of Canberra. Now the Bulldogs, are
Yeah,
after him.
that wouldn't make
Dragons are
sense.
after him because obviously Tyson Frizzell's going to the Knights at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Which again, I don't think he's a Tyson Frizzell second rower.
no, no.
Different players, and Titans are after him.
Mm,
But Wigan have offered him a 5-year deal worth 3.5 million. Now I worked this out on a calculator. That's 700k a season or 700k a year
right.
for 5-year deal.
So
What do you say is that?
I'll give you my opinion. The other teams in the NRL that's coming after him make no sense whatsoever. Why would he go from Canberra, a competitive side that's just been to the grand final, to
Yeah,
teams that not even in the conversation as such? And with
yeah.
Wigan, it makes sense that if he leaves the NRL, he'll come to a winning side like Wigan. Like I'm not saying that
But
they've won loads. Well, obviously they have won loads, but you know what I mean. Like in
but
recent.
surely, but surely there should be something along the lines of Wigan wanting to retain some players at least,
Oh
because
yeah,
that's
they've
going to
got a
take
good
up a big
team at the minute.
chunk.
They got a good team, except from George Williams. But he's only had one game to try and prove himself. But we've got to try the team we've got now rather than keep changing constantly, because that's not how
Yeah,
you win. Like you
and
look at Roosters. Roosters, they've kept the same team. They've changed a few spots, but they've kept the base.
they've kept him in and about, haven't they?
Yeah,
I mean, with and the other thing is as well now with him, obviously he had the shoulder injury, he had the surgery, he was going through rehab. Well, he's had another operation on it. He
yeah,
started his rehab now.
yeah.
That puts a lot of doubt in teams' players.
No, I
That
know.
puts a lot of doubt in teams about players because they don't want someone that's going to come over on that money as well,
Yeah,
and then end up getting injured. It,
you
it
you know
it'd
you,
be
you
interesting to
you got to
see.
look at it at both sides, really. Like, if he actually is injured and he actually does want to stay, then fair enough. Like, what can we say about it? But if he's doing it because, like, he wants out and stuff like that, you got to
Yeah,
picture it like a loyalty
I fully get
standpoint.
that.
Like, why not
Fully
just
get that.
be, up and honest? I heard things
Yeah,
about him missing his family and stuff like that, being homesick. But
because his daughter lives over here, doesn't he?
yeah, yeah,
In
which is fair,
Duntre.
which is
Yeah,
fair enough. Like, fair enough. But You gotta be honest.
What moving. So we'll move on from that because that's obviously all up in smoke at the minute.
Yeah,
My
it is.
next one for you, is maybe not massive news, but I thought I'd do it in this because again, you're a Souths fan.
Yeah.
Cameron Murray, right?
Gee,
They've caught it. Wayne Bennett has moved him into second row.
I don't agree.
Uh,
He's on edge, Yeah.
yeah. So they're saying now that it's failed moving back to loose forward because him and Liam Knight, it is Liam Knight, isn't it?
Yeah,
Has suffered now.
yeah.
Because so again, just got a few things for you. So in loose forward last year, he had 60% of his play the balls were like classed as a fast play the ball, which is where a lot of success came from.
Yeah.
Where now it's gone down to 41%.
It just goes to show, innit? Like, I get they're trying to try different things, with like new players coming
Yeah.
in, they're having to play a different system. But if
he's
you've
your
got a
best
player,
player
if you've got a player that's playing like that, like you see him and Victor Radley are quite similar in the way they play, and
yeah, very.
you've got to, you've got to keep your best players where they belong. Like Liam Knight, I don't believe he should be playing 13.
Yeah. See, the thing is as well, like you don't know what Wayne Bennett has been there and done it.
Yeah, he's
He is a
experienced.
world class.
He knows what he's doing.
But with this new rule coming in when it did, surely you'd prepare and think, right, if he's doing that with two refs and none of this 6 again rule, surely this new game would be made for him to do it.
Yeah, it makes Damien Cook a better player as well. Like if player the balls are coming faster, he's quicker off the mark and he can exploit like the gaps in the teams. But obviously with a slower player the ball, it's harder for him to perform.
Because in my opinion, like Souths, I think that's where they struggled. Like against the Roosters, the play the balls were too slow.
Yeah.
So when Damien Cook got out, he was mobbed. Like they were already there for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Damien Cook has kind of suffered. Really, it's an hard one. Really,
it's hard to but the whole team in general, like they're still trying to Latrell's still trying to find his way. And the missing Cody Walker as well, like that's a massive miss. You put Cook and Walker together.
That's your spine. That's the spine of your team, then, isn't it? Because if you think Latrell Mitchell's new, he's fitting in still. He's getting his confidence back. Fullback's a major part to a team's success, really, going forward.
Yeah.
And then you lose Walker, like you said.
I think what makes it worse about Latrell is he's got too many comparisons straight away compared to English and stuff. People are expecting him to perform to that level, but which fair enough because he's a good player. Like he should be doing great things, but at a new position, you got to give him time.
Yeah, definitely. Have you got out else, mate, or are you?
Except from Cleary, he's back soon, isn't he?
He is back next week, isn't he?
Next week. Oh, they're against the Eels next week, so that should be an interesting.
That'll be an interesting game because Eels are the only team with a perfect record still.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting what Panthers do with their half situation at the minute.
See, because like obviously later on we're choosing like our 3 players that we thought were like really good over the round. We've picked our one player.
Yeah.
But in mine, I think I'll say it. I'll go into more detail, obviously, sort of when we talk about it. But I think there's only one. Pairing for Cleary when he comes back.
What's that?
I think they have to take Luai out, and I think they have to play that Matt Burton.
Yeah, he's got 2 tries.
He's stepped up. Yeah, he's stepped up for Panthers, I think, and his kicking game is unbelievable.
Yeah.
His kicking plays.
I think it'll be interesting to see how they end up after Cleary's back and they start to click.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting competition. So.
Because I know it was round.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say because when you look at round 3, the Knights and the Panthers game finished 14-all. But Panthers had up-team chances, and they missed that sort of spark on the line, and I think that's where Cleary and Burton had worked well.
That's
Because
what I
Burton's
thought
only
about
played 2
Burton.
games, hasn't he?
Burton, after he missed all them chances, I thought he would have come out in the next game. Head in hands.
Yeah,
Worried about
exactly.
what he's gonna do, but he came out, smashed it.
That was only his second game of first grade,
It's
so
crazy.
it's big weight that on shoulders.
Yeah,
You know,
especially when you have to perform and Cleary's not in and stuff.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Cam, just got a quick one for you. Now, the Queensland and Sharks game, the first test that they took of the Sharks players, 6 of them failed it. One of them being Matt Moylan.
Yeah.
Right. So they were saying that what would happen is they'd have to postpone the game. They couldn't give Queensland the points. It's not fair.
Yeah.
During this time. Do you think that the NRL are going to have to sort of put something in place in case that happens? Because it's more than likely going to happen a bit more, isn't it, over the next couple of rounds?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a hard one, isn't it? I think there's going to be some, they have to be strict, but there's got to be some leniency to it.
What do you do? Do you take more players to the game with you? So instead of just picking a 19-man squad, do you take, say,
I don't think
23?
I don't think they can do that, though, because the more players and what happens to the players when they don't get picked and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I just think with everything that's going on at the minute, you just got to be a bit easier on it.
You've got to accept it, I think. If it happens, it happens. As long as they don't give the points to the other team.
Yeah, like you can always just reschedule it because we're in a time where everything's uncertain. So
Yeah,
there's
midweek game, innit?
Yeah,
Midweek game.
So let's move on from the NRL and switch over to the other side, Super League.
Interesting this.
What we're thinking? When do you
So
when do you reckon everything's going to be back to normal?
So they've got no official date as of yet.
No.
So I think it's all up in smoke. There was a thing about it being August, but
yeah, and then grand final being in January or something.
See, so what they've done is they've said that the grand final is either going to be on November 28th, December the 12th, or mid-Jan. Now, the mid-January one isn't active at the minute. They've said that can't happen because if for whatever reason they want the players, they've not said why, but I'm guessing it might be due to having a longer off season. And also you kind of want, as a grand final, that's the peak, that's like the pinnacle over here for Super League.
Yeah.
And I think if you have that massive off season, it would be like watching a round one game.
No, I know what you mean.
I know, don't get me wrong, the class will be different because they'll get up for a grand final.
It's just going to be weird at the minute, isn't it? Like with everything like uncertain. You come to October and you come to think it's grand final time, but October's going to come this year and it's going to be like we're still playing.
The one thing I don't get, right? So they've also said that there's either going to be 22, 24, or 28 games.
Yeah.
Now, NRL started a lot earlier than we are over here.
Yeah.
So surely they cut it down to 20 games, haven't they?
Yeah, they've cut it down to 20. Yeah.
So surely, I mean, don't get me wrong. Over here, we don't have the money that the Aussies have for rugby league.
No.
So they might need to do more games purely on the fact that it'll bring in a bit more income due to fans,
especially
things like
with
that.
the loss of money recently.
Exactly. But yeah, if it was me, I'd just do 22 games. This is just my opinion. Just do 22 games. If you start at the beginning of August, right, 22 games. We'll have the grand final end of November or beginning of December. That's not a problem either way. Because the Ashes test has just been cancelled for the Aussies to tour over here.
Yeah. Are they going along with that, or they cancelled it?
Yeah, it's confirmed now, so it's been cancelled.
Yeah,
so they're having the Origin, and then New Zealand and Tonga are going to be playing in a international game.
Yeah.
Mal Meninga, the Aussie coach, has come out and said that he would like to have a game with the winner of that. So Aussies will play. So Origin will play. He'll pick his best Aussie team. They'll play the winner of the Tonga and New Zealand game.
Right.
But if it was me over here, I'd do 22 games, play your grand final. Right, lads, have a massive off season.
Yeah. I agree
rest
with
up a
that.
bit.
You know what I mean? Like,
Not a lot of players that play for like England, Great Britain, all their international teams won't have a proper off season
no.
for it. They've not probably not had one for a good while. I know they've had this now where they've had a bit of time off, but they're still going to go back to rugby, so they're
Yeah,
going to
it's
have
not
to have
been
stayed
it's not
fit
been
throughout
yeah,
it.
it's not proper training though. They've not got like ball
They've
in
stuck
hand
at home, haven't
playing.
they?
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like in Britain,
So
it's massive difference. You know, lockdown came much later. Everything's just up in
yeah,
arms at the minute. You know.
and the worst part is because I do enjoy being obviously over here. We enjoy watching Super League and that, but there's
Yeah.
nothing really to talk about on it anymore. Like now, because nothing's really been said. It's still waiting for
Yeah.
right. This is when we confirm. This is when we do it. They've said that they want to get fans in to stadiums as soon as
I don't
October.
think I don't think there's any need to rush it as such,
No, no,
um,
not at all.
but to be fair, while we're on the topic, we can still talk about you know where the table's at the minute.
Go on, go on.
So you look at some teams like Catalan, they've only played 4 games. You look at teams like Huddersfield, Leeds, Wakefield, they've only played 5. And then teams on 6 and teams on 7. So Wigan's at the top at the minute because they played 7 and we're on 10 points, so we've won 5, lost 2. Second is Castleford at the minute. They've played 7 as well, 5 and 2. They're on 10 points. And third is Leeds, 4 and 1. They played 5. You know, and Saints, bloody hell, what's happened to them? Like, start season 3 and 3.
I
And
honestly, I honestly think that it was bound to happen
yeah,
because when you listen to like players talk about Holbrook, they said that he took all the thinking out of the game. So the little things that they were having to think about, he took that away. So they do it then just without thinking about it.
yeah,
So then all they'd have to worry about then is sort of what comes after that. Where I think when he's come in, being the Tongan coach, you know, he's going to have been very physical. And when you watch the Saints games this year, you can tell. I think
yeah.
they rely more on the defence rather than the go forward. And I will say, it hasn't worked most of the time. You
But
know, like you
you,
said, with 3-3.
yeah, you look at what Holbrook
But
did as well. Like he taught people how to be like tough-minded and stuff like that, and
yeah,
you know to overcome adversity and stuff like that. Especially what he's done with his Titans team as well. How they've not lost the
exactly.
Reds, they've come out and won again. Like it just shows you what Holbrook can do.
I think Christian Wolf is a very good coach. And, you know, there's people that say, get him gone, you know, bring Holbrook back. It ain't that easy. What I
No,
think they should do is, I think at least give him the season, as long as we get playoffs, finals,
yeah,
you know, I think. But the other thing is as well, because you've not got the Challenge Cup to worry about now.
no.
You know, we don't know what I personally don't know anything that's going to happen with that. So all you've got now is right, finishing the top 8, finishing the top 4.
I still
We'll
think
get to
you're
the
a massive,
finals.
massive contender to
No,
repeat.
yeah, but I think because if you look at so Jack Ashworth, there's rumours of him going to Dragons. You've got Taya and I think Peru, Amor and Scarsbrook,
Yeah,
whose contracts are up at end of season.
and Thompson's going at end of season.
Thompson's going. Just leave him in for the season and let him sort of show what he can do in the market.
Yeah.
Because
So we was talking about like the centre wing pairing like Makinson and Percival. You've
yeah,
got key players in that team.
yeah. But the, the other thing that we found out, right, is we've missed Percival since the Warrington game.
Yeah,
And then we lost a few more key players that you think that yeah, we've got class around that, but once you lose the likes of Percival, you know, who can perform
change
in
your
big
game. Yeah,
games,
it can change your game.
exactly. You know, we missed Coop for part of him. I think we had him for a couple games before it got, or one game before it cut off that we lost, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
You know, but we lost Coop for a few games as well. And I think once we get that, I think once we get everyone back, and like I said, we can once the rugby's back as well, You only have to focus on finishing top 8, top 4.
Yeah.
Then I think that's where the go forward will be for Saints. Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers
Well,
crossed.
another big one is Catalan, like with Maloney and obviously Israel Folau.
Yeah,
They're going to be a big impact. They're only 3-1 at
yeah,
the minute because they've only played 4 games, but they look quite good so far.
yeah. I mean, Maloney being in that side alone, the amount of experience he has,
Yeah.
2 grand finals, multiple
Origin.
origins,
Yeah.
you know, he'll take all of that over with him. And the good thing is with Catalan as well, one of the good things about him going there, he'll help a lot of young lads in that team
Yeah.
and everyone around him just by he'll know what to do. He won't panic. He won't rush things.
No.
And he's a really tough player. He don't mind getting knocked about a bit.
Yeah. Well, you've seen it in Origin, haven't you? Uh,
You know, he don't take a backward step,
no, no.
even though he's smaller than most of them. Like,
So
but
what?
talking about,
Go on.
no, I was just going to say, talking about all this now. Who would you? Who's the team for you to watch in 2020?
Personally, I'd say it pains me to say this, but probably Warrington.
Yeah, and
Like,
I think I know why you're going to say this. I think I know why you're going to say
oh,
this.
go on, why?
With GI.
that's next year in 2021, but
Oh yeah, go
yeah.
on. Ignore that. Christ,
But
Christ. Go on.
they've had some unfortunate losses. But I just think the team, Blake Austin and stuff like that,
Yeah,
you know.
Widdop. Hopefully Widdop when he gets fit.
Yeah, I hope he can stay fit as well because that'll be a massive
Yeah,
influence in that team.
and he's just quality to watch. I'd
But
rather it not be in a Warrington shirt, but
you
it's
know what's going to be interesting about 2021? I know obviously Greg Inglis is massive player, but it's going to be a bit harsh on Matty Ashton because Matty Ashton's played well.
yeah.
So it'd be interesting where they
It
put him, unless they shove him on the wing or something like that. But
rings centre maybe,
yeah,
depending on what goes on, because you never know who they're going to lose.
no, because they're going to have to get
He
rid of
may
another marquee player because they can't have you know
see because
Blake.
is Blake Austin must be close to being out of contract.
Yeah, I think who's their marquee players now? Blake Austin and Widdop.
Probably, yeah,
How much
yeah.
are they playing
Well,
for
Murdoch,
Gellin at the minute?
I'm not sure, but Murdoch Masilla's on his way out. Either I think that's more likely at end of year as well, so that'll free up a bit of cap space for him.
Yeah, I suppose.
He's off to NRL.
Who's
What
who
about your player to watch then?
player
Go
to
on.
watch? Uh, it's not biased, but Bevan French. I think he's proved
Interesting.
himself this season. I think he
Yeah,
looks good. He looks good and he looks sharp.
he's electric him though.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Hastings in all honesty, but I think Hastings now having a quality fullback
Yeah, he
or
doesn't have to get involved
just
as much, Hastings. He can,
exactly,
sit back and let game come to him rather him
and
having.
and and he has someone now that he can trust him, so he knows that if he throws this pass, French is going to be there for him.
Yeah, it's mad how French has come on actually because he played on the was it wing or centre for Para, and then
Yeah,
he's come into the halves. So it's quite good to see how good he's come on. So who would your
he,
team and player be this
right.
season?
So my team, I've gone with Saints. My team, Saints. I have just because I think the last couple of seasons, we dominated the league.
Yeah,
Well, didn't win anything apart from league leaders. Then the following year, we Warrington showed us up in the Challenge Cup. We won league leaders and then we won the grand final.
yeah.
With the start we've had in the last 2 seasons, I think we need to sort of we're the team to watch in terms of we actually have to do something.
Yeah, well, it
I
comes
think we
it
have
comes
to.
when you've won. Like the pressure comes on you to perform again,
Mm.
especially when you got
And
the
it
same team.
pains me to say. I mean, we did it sort of 90s and 2000s, but no team has done it better than Leeds. during Brian McDermott's reign.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was a Challenge Cup and a grand final, or just the Challenge Cup, or just the grand final, they'd always be in amongst winning stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Saints needs to be. I think Saints need to sort of turn up this year. And
It's just
like I said,
consistency,
Challenge
innit?
Cup's out of it. Challenge
Yeah.
Cup's out of it. But they can't use what's gone on with COVID as like an excuse. They need to come back and think, right, we play for this now. We don't just turn over and hope for the best and finish eighth.
Like
We have to
in the
kind of,
NRL when it came back as well, they can look at it as like a fresh start. Like look at it as round one. So like come in
yeah,
as round one.
yeah. Because that's the thing. It's an interest. Saints need a big season this year. Need a very big season.
Yeah, it would help
And
prove themselves more than anything.
and going along with player to watch, I've gone for another Saints lad, young lad, Aaron Smith, the hooker,
Ooh.
number 9. Now, my reasoning for this is I was going to go for, like I said, I thought you were going to go with Hastings. I could have gone with Maloney. Could have gone with Thompson, with it being his last year. I could have gone with a lot of players, but I picked Aaron Smith just purely on the fact that he's got big shoes to fill at Saints
100%.
if he wants to stay there.
100%.
Coming away from the likes of us having, because Saints have been blessed with 9s. We've had Cunningham.
Yeah.
We had Mickey Hyam at one point, who was quality for us, but playing under Cunningham, it wasn't really gonna,
No.
And then we had Roby,
Rob.
and we still got Roby. And I think
Yes.
but I think Aaron Smith has a lot proved this year, because I think he'll definitely get more game time.
Yeah, and he'll learn under Roby because Roby's such a good player, and
Exactly. So that's like I said, I could have picked star players, that have something to prove, but I think as a young lad, I think it'd be good to watch him this year and see how he deals with it, because there's going to be a lot of weight on his shoulders. He played grand final and he was good in the grand final last year. He played in the World Club Challenge. Now that's a top experience for him.
Yeah.
When Roby went off, I'll admit, when Roby went off, I thought, oh shit, here we go. I did. But we actually were solid in the middle. I know
yours.
I know we got beat. We got beat quite convincingly. We played well, but that Roosters team was just too good.
Yeah.
And it pains me to say it, but when he went off, I think it kind of broke down a bit then. I think they run in most of their tries at that point.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he's a good young player, and I think coming off the back of Roby and sort of when Roby goes off, because he's playing less minutes now than he used to, I think he has to sort of step up to the plate a bit and sort of carry the Saints team like Roby did. When Cunningham retired, Roby kind of then went into the team.
You know what
properly
is another player to watch, and people speak about him, but Regan Grace, it's good to see how he's maturing into the game now.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I spoke to you, didn't I, when I was on about the grand final, about how he tried to leap the player. Honestly.
The thing with Grace is he's quality, because he's quick, he's
electric,
agile. Yeah, but he's one of them, and he's like, he needs to be bigger, but then if he goes bigger, he will lose that pace.
Yeah.
I think he just needs a bit more weight, just so he can sort of, instead of getting knocked back and turn around, he can actually sort
tackles,
of, yeah, or even just get his nose through and just fall to the floor, get on his front, rather than getting sort of held up and turned around, But yeah, I agree with that. I do. Grace it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up in NRL at some point, if he has another good year.
Yeah.
It really wouldn't surprise me. Holbrook fishing him up. But yeah, it'd be an interesting one.
While we're on the subject of Super League as well, we might as well talk about Toronto. What do you think about all this with the cap and stuff like that? Obviously, they got Callum Watkins coming in now, and Sonny Bill.
I know they've got rid of. They've let one of the lads go. I can't remember his name. I think it's to Salford. So that'll free up a bit of space, Now, with Toronto, one of the things that kind of annoyed me with it, when they played their £1 million game, right? The team that they were playing played to lose,
Yeah.
travelled to England, then from England, I think they went straight over to Toronto, whatever it was, to play Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And in that game, they were comparing that to Salford getting to the grand final. Now, for me, Toronto were the only professional side in that league.
Yeah.
So were Salford, what they did was they went from an average team to around 2,000 fans a week to defeating Warrington, Wigan, big teams, and getting to that grand final.
Yeah.
That's nothing, but the way it's going, I think Toronto is the future of rugby league.
No, yeah, because there's talks about that New York team as well, stuff now, aren't there?
Yeah,
But I don't
yeah.
agree that they should be coming over to the English league. I reckon they need to make a name for themselves and, sell the market in America. I know it'll be hard, but obviously with Toronto being here, I think the more we invite American teams over, the harder the league's going to get, like travel and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because
Because
if you're in, like, say you got an LA team, an LA team doesn't need to play games in the UK, like Toronto
no,
does, because of the weather.
but the thing is, it's like, so like Toronto are based over in Manchester somewhere now.
Yeah,
What has happened is it's like, because of the weather over there, you can't play rugby league, which is fair enough. It is cold in Canada.
yeah,
So they've played half their games over here, and then when it gets to summer, that's when teams start traveling.
yeah,
Again, going back to that £1 million game, half of the team that they played, I can't remember the name of the team or which team it was, but half of the players, staff, fans got stuck over there or somewhere on the way
yeah.
back
It's
because of the weather. And it's like, if that happens, say Wigan go over there, Wigan
yeah,
play Toronto, and then half their team gets stuck. Is then Wigan expected then to field half their academy against, say, a Leeds team?
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like,
I think,
if it
I
comes
think,
to it, and there's plenty more teams in America coming over, I think nothing will be harmed in playing friendlies, but I
no.
think they've got to make a base for themselves. Make their own
And
league, make their own name.
I think, and people probably say, "Oh, you're just arrogant to the game." We're not. I think they deserve a shot in the Super League. They do. They've done
Yeah,
it in other leagues previously. They do deserve a shot, and like I said, it probably is the future at rugby. But it's it. There's just too many things that can cock up the Super League now.
no, but it'll help expand the game over there as well if they play games over there, because
Yeah,
people are going to be looking like, oh, what's happening here? I might go
exactly.
check it out. Whereas if we're playing it in
Yeah,
England, it's only English fans that are going to see it.
when I watched the Out of Your League podcast with Brian McDermott.
Yeah,
Um, and he was talking about when he was when he was on the podcast, and he was saying like that Challenge Cup viewings have gone down now. He said it's getting stale. It's getting to the point now where something needs to change. And he was saying like the RFL or Super League can't look at it and go, oh well, the fans need to change. Something needs to change
no,
with us and how we do it. And like I said, I think Toronto, this New York team, LA team, whatever goes on, I think it's the right move. It just needs to be dealt with better. Say, give them their own league, and then say, right, so you have your own league, you play in this league. The winner of your league will come over, play the league leaders of our league.
yeah. I think eventually, like, hopefully in the future, we can develop some kind of league like the Champions League.
It'll give
Obviously, it's not
it'll
going to be just as big, but it'd be good to
no,
see that.
it'll give thingy, I think, as well, that if they did that where they say, right, you can come and play England's best, or if Australia jump on it, because Matty Johns, he talked about. So if the Aussies buy into it, they could then go and play the Aussies, an
Yeah,
Aussie team,
yeah,
tour
100%.
Australia. But even though they're not going to play in the Super League, it'll still give them something to play for.
Yeah, right. We're gonna have to move on anyway because we're touching an hour now.
I want to play against them. Yeah, I want to
So
play against these.
let's talk about other sports. Have you got an update on football for us at all?
I have Sonic League. There's not much. Well, there is a lot happening, I guess. So they've said that coverage will start on June the 17th, and all the teams will be live. All the
Yeah,
teams will be on. June 17th, Aston Villa and Sheffield. That'll be a top game.
yeah,
Aston Villa fighting for relegation and Sheffield fighting for Champions League.
yeah.
You've got Merseyside derby. Liverpool looking to go one game closer, but Everton need a big game, need a very big game.
Yeah, they do. They
And
do.
then you've got Tottenham versus United.
Tottenham versus United. Oh,
Manchester United.
that'll be a good game.
That'll be
So,
that, that Mourinho will look to do one up on us, but yeah,
that'll be a good game. Right, do you want me to fetch it over to the NBA?
There's been no real new cases in the testing. When they go into training, they're all being tested, things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
There's, but I think there's been a few in like Championship EFL. I think there's been a couple it's happened there. But what they have said is anyone leading up to the start of it
yeah.
that have symptoms that test positive. I think it said a week or 2 weeks before. I think it may have been the week. They will not be able to play in the restart. So they're just saying, no, one test, no, you can't play.
That makes sense, that actually, because
No,
you
yeah.
can't take any risks. But it's
But
exciting to see that things are moving on.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be any fans in at the start.
No,
I
no.
probably should have looked at that, but one player gets it, he gets let into the thing, then
Yeah.
two teams have got it, and it's right back to square one then in it full circle.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I've been looking at like the NBA and stuff. The NBA recently announced that they're going to have a 22 team competition, to go into the finals, and that's going to start on July 31st. But the interesting thing about it, they're having all 22 teams that are participating flying over to Orlando and having it done at Disney World.
Wow.
So that's quite
I
interesting.
wonder one. So with that, what is is it? How many are they? Did you say they're just going straight to the finals, or are they?
So this is how they're doing it. This is the schedule. Like I'm looking at a tweet here. It's going to be the training camp's going to be on June 30th. July 7th is when the teams will travel to Orlando, and July 31st is when it'll start. They'll continue on after the season finished. After that, October 18th will be the free agency, and November 10th will be training camp. And December 1st will be opening night. So obviously it's been pushed back now because it usually starts in October time, I think.
So with the finals, are they doing the same amount of games, or is it just going to be a one-off game?
So I'm looking here now.
Or is that not been confirmed?
It's not very clear at the minute. So I think it's just going to be like a competition, like a knockout thing. I think. Don't quote me on it, but it's something that we'll keep looking into, and we'll have another update on it on Wednesday probably.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, with that though, you can't expect it to go back to normal, can you?
No.
I think they probably will do it slightly differently just because they have to.
I think
And
what
then
will
it'll
come out
go
of it
back.
is like you'll have fans that'll be like, "Oh, you didn't really win a championship," because Milwaukee and Lakers were favourite this year, but you can't really crown a true champion with that.
No.
But then again,
But
it's
end of the day,
hard to do it. Yeah.
you can only play what fixtures are given to you, aren't you? It's an hard one.
Yeah. And with the NFL, there's not really much news of the season and stuff only starting later on in the year. But what I'd like to talk to you about the Drew Brees situation.
Right.
It came out. I know this is a bit of a
on.
touchy subject, but it came out and he was talking about the American flag and why he shouldn't kneel and stuff like that. And then he got slated about it. And then he came out and apologised, but people think it's like a publicity thing where, you have to come out and apologise. But you got to look at things like what Breeze has done for the city to New Orleans. and
Thing is,
stuff like that.
yeah, Breeze
He's
doesn't have a history of
yeah,
being,
he's not a nasty
he's not,
person. He's probably the
he's not.
truthfulest person you could ever watch.
So if he says something, he's just saying it because that's what he believes
Yeah,
should be said.
I don't think he intended to hurt
Not at
anyone,
all. Not at all.
but
But you
his
can
wide
understand why people.
yeah. Well, Michael Thompson, not Thompson. What is it, Thompson? Bloody hell, I can't remember. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's his wide receiver anyway. He came out against it, and then after Breeze apologized, Breeze originally apologized through text and put it on his Instagram, but then obviously he went back on that and recorded a video and apologized through a video. And
So sorry, his wide receiver said that he shouldn't have done it.
yeah, like he was getting like basically calling him out on it, but then he said like he accepts his apology after he did the video. But I think it's a tough time
That's the
currently
thing.
in America. I think
Yeah.
everything's
Because
it
I
needs to
think,
be done though. If there's a time to
yeah,
do it, it's now.
I think, and I think it's starting to show some of the police officers' true colours. Because whether you're getting pissed off with what's going on over there as a police officer, controlling all these protests, things like that,
Yeah.
you shouldn't, some of the videos I've seen of it, that shouldn't be happening.
No, yeah,
You
and
know,
going back to the NFL, like one of the coaches or players came out and said, you look at it and you look at the coaches in the NFL, you've got like 32 teams, is it? And only
yeah.
2 teams have black head coaches, and you put that in perspective. Today, it's just silly, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
There should be
But
more like, you know,
the one thing I'll say about that is that if they're the best man for the job, obviously you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but if they're the best man for the job, they should get that job.
yeah, you
But
shouldn't be judging people anyway,
exactly.